This is gonna be an interesting video. It might be awesome. It might suck. I have no idea. That's how I go into every video here on the channel, guys. But actually, it stems from the conversation. 174 comments for this channel. That is a ton, the most ever on this channel. Also, it was the most disliked video I've ever had on this channel. Granted, it was still 98% likes, only 9 dislikes. So I don't want to be too hyperbolic in that, but it is true. It was the most disliked video that I've ever had here on the channel. So I figured we would go ahead and dive into some of those 174 comments. I have not read one of them. I haven't read any. So I wanted to see what you guys think of the state of Watcher of Realms, essentially. I'll link that video in case you missed it. It'd probably be a good time to go ahead and check it out. That way you have any idea of what we're talking about today. But long story short is drowning because of the watering down of the hero pool, the redundancy that I pointed out between each class of heroes. I don't get that excited anymore. It's like another mage is another mage, another defender is another defender. I hypothesize that buffs and debuffs, or the lack thereof in this game, or the prominence that they play in strategy in this game, might be part of the problem for me personally. I'm feeling like something is a little bit missing in Watcher of Realms. So I want to see what you guys had to say. Again, I'd recommend you watch the actual video. It's only 10 minutes long. That way, again, you have some idea of what we're talking about today. All right, so here's the vid. Let's go ahead and, well, heck, might as well give it a thumbs up. Might as well help that ratio a little bit, right? What's worse is hoping for Comet, getting 2 Ediths, and instead of building either of them, I just find myself pointing out that I just got 2 reskinned Avelines. Fair enough, fair enough. What do you guys think of Edith? Ash, I feel exactly the same way. And I'm not too afraid to admit, the honeymoon for me is over. For me and Watcher of Realms. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you. I can understand that. Majesty923, the only time debuffs matter is in VR when they avoid Rift, when they nerf your goddamn tunes to make the content super hard. Basically stemming from the comment that I made about, like, dude, do we even think about, like, when I go into a raid battle, I want, like, I don't know, I think of all my essential buffs and debuffs. I don't think that barely at all. If I need like anti-healing, and that's about it, right? I think rage regen. We must remember that while it might be redundant for some of those of us who played since launch and have many legendaries, it is very helpful to have more than one hero to do a job to avoid newer players needing that one hero I can't pull and therefore not being able to finish content. I will give it a heart, but I agree and I disagree. I mean, like, we're only a new player for a short period of time, and then it becomes redundant. It's not, yeah, sure. I mean, no one in this game has been playing this game for over 10 months. We're all new players. Starting this game was amazing. Let me be very clear about that, right? Starting Watcher of Realms, they're just throwing amazing epics at you constantly. They're like, oh, you want Iona? Sure. You want Greed? Yeah, absolutely. Wrath? Sure. Oh, summon like an epic because almost all of them rock, right? So you get a couple lucky epic summons. You get a Baron, you get a Dolores, you get a Idril. I mean, you have like almost everything you need, and I think that's the commenter's point here. I guess he's kind of making my point too. It only takes a few months before everything starts to feel like, oh, I already have Idril. Why do I need Kai? Or whatever the heck, you know? What do the replies say on this? Who is she? Who is she?
Who is she?
Jason Bailey says, you're spot on. Oh, I like this comment a lot better. I'm just joking. What you're getting at is the game lacks depth, he says. The whole system is too simplistic, and so the heroes all blend together, and we most just care about, can this hero do damage or boost my damage dealers? That's really it. What these type of games need is things like damage types, like fire, ice, etc., and resistance to those types. So like the affinities in Raid, or a little bit of counterplay like they have in Dragonair, for example. That way you can have a larger hero pool that can do all these things. The resistance also allows you to scale more. So early on, the resistance might be low, but if you don't have any good fire damage dealer, it's okay. But late stages will require multiple fire damage dealers. You know, he's a bit of an amateur game designer and indie dev. I think that's 100% on point. I agree with everything. It doesn't have to be fire and ice. It could be force and spirit. But I think the lack of affinities does play into the strategic shallowness that I'm experiencing in the game right now. Agree. Okay, cool. Insightful Echo, my man Echo. You watch my Watcher of Realms channel. Guys, check out Echo Gaming Raid. He covers Raid Shadow Legends, and I absolutely love Echo. Good, longtime friend. Hadn't thought about the aspect of what was missing, but seeing your point of view, I largely agree. The variety is just not there. And in recent history of nerfs and half-hearted apologies, I think I'm at the point where accepting this is all it will be. So play it until I finish a few things I want to do and then move on until I find a way to breathe more life into it and they find a way. I think that's a very honest, and I can totally understand and agree with that response there, or that take there from Dale. I said what you said in Fast Eats video. So when we're talking about negative things that we really hate in the game, they make quick changes. But when it comes to positive things like, hey, add this, we love this, is that the point you guys think he's trying to make there? They've been responsive. Absolutely, I stand by that. Moonton has been incredibly responsive, incredibly sensitive to what the community is saying. And honestly, I like that. But there are, you know, I feel like design-wise, I mean, the game is brand new. I'm not sitting here, by the way, trying to, you know, pull out the pitchforks and let's storm Moonton HQ, you know, or quit spending or quit playing, you know? It's really not that. I think I'm just trying to have an open conversation with you guys about I'm feeling less compelled to log in as I did or than I did at the beginning of Watcher of Realms. I can still get into Watcher of Realms. Like, there'll still be a night maybe once or twice a week now, you know, it used to be a little bit more often, where I can really start deep diving. I was working on Gear Raid 4, for example, last night, and I was having a ball. So it's like, not like I'm totally, you know, quitting the game, just not feeling the same way. I'm actually feeling a little bit more dopamine on Raid. In the beginning, this felt kind of like a breath of fresh air. Maybe it's that new relationship thing where now it's like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. Bro, I just started the game. For me, it's full throttle, see? I completely agree with the underwhelming epics. Throw us a bone and maybe some epic rare specific content or something. For weeks I only do the basics since I can't progress in higher stages. I actually need the gear that drops there to progress, and yeah, some of it's on me because it's so hard, sometimes hurts my brain. You know what, I think this is a fair point I want to get to in a moment. I have heroes enough, and pulling another one has no effect since it's all about the gear, so yeah, I feel ya. It's a really good point, the way that they gatekeep the gear between these thresholds and between these critical stages. It makes it so that, you know, in one way, it's not awful because once you hit a plateau somewhere, a roadblock somewhere, you can usually rotate because there's enough game modes in this game to where that's you know, conducive to a viable strategy. However, yeah, I absolutely feel you. Heck, I was just talking about me grinding Gear Raid 4. I have fully awakened legendaries, a bunch of them on my account. My account, if you look at the heroes, is stacked. But speaking of Fasty, the last time he came on my channel, he's like, dude, your gear sucks. And it's true, because I guess I just haven't grinded enough overnight your stamina, right? This game feels so incredibly gear-centric. So much of the gear oftentimes overshadows the heroes, the actual heroes, right? I was saying that I was working on Gear Raid 4 and I can't clear Gear Raid 4-6. I'm kind of embarrassed to say that. I can't clear it given that I have like a billion, I have like every legendary that I need, basically. You know, I'm missing some awesome ones, obviously, but I have enough. And I have some of those fully awakened. And I'm still not clearing it because my gear sucks. But in my case, I could actually just, you know, buckle up. I want to play the game, and farm overnight more often, you know? So it's kind of a lame excuse what I'm trying to say. That's true what you said, and I also thought about it. As a former game dev in another production, I think that the problem about the buffs and the debuffs in War is that they're actually not visible. They're not clearly shown while battle. So most players just don't see them when they're being used. At least at the end of the battle in stats, it should be shown. How many times each champion had an extra attack, or how much damage was basic and how much was additional because of debuffs or buffs. Then players could actually see the profits of this content in the game. There might be some wisdom in that. We just don't see it, so it's hard to actually quantify how much buffs or debuffs are helping in the game. And I'm not saying that's the only problem with the game, right? I think that the part about hurting his brain, right? I like strategy games. I like puzzle games, right? So it's not like I'm afraid to put actual time into a game that I'm playing. If you want to play the game, you should probably actually play the game, right? You should actually enjoy playing the game, right? You shouldn't want everything to be AFK is what I'm trying to say. Raid has this absolutely brilliant, perfect balance of brain time, meaning full focus, versus AFK casual time. You know, like put on a TV show and pay, you know, 20% attention to raid or whatever. Watcher of Realms, while there's absolutely AFK time and focus time, Watcher of Realms, for me at least, I need to be shut down the world, full focus on Watcher of Realms if I want to play Watcher of Realms. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Again, you could argue, hey, if you want to play a game, you might as well actually focus on the damn game, Ash, you know? So I agree with, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying the reality is that unlike a raid, I'm unable to just sit there and casually play while I'm, you know, whatever, doing something, making dinner or something, you know? I can't do that in Watcher of Realms, like, no way. Precision timing, precision placement leads to needing full focus. Ergo, for my lifestyle, I don't have the time necessary to always, you know, devote that sort of content, that sort of time, excuse me, to the content. I think you're right, but I'm also not super experienced with tower defense style games. Play to know how they could implement a necessity for more strategy with buffs and debuffs. Maybe adding enemies that are immune to either magic or physical, occasionally huge enemies that are particularly vulnerable to poison or bleed, super durable waves that you have to CC in order to give your units time to kill. I think that is great. Gear of 4 is your answer. You require certain roles with debuffs or slows, or you can't pass 3, 4, or 3. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why getting past 4-3 seems to be a crutch point. If you don't have certain heroes and really good gear, it will not happen for you, or maybe that's where I'm stuck. To be totally fair to Taco here, I just said that I'm stuck, right? Maybe that's it. Maybe I need to really think about those buffs and debuffs a little bit more. I actually watched a few guides. I was watching CB's, you know, guide they shared in-game, and I thought it was great, but he didn't mention pivotal buffs and debuffs, you know? So maybe Taco is onto something there. Maybe he's on something there, right? I just started playing Sunday, and I'm loving it still. Pulled my Eloin, my first Lego. Today I just pulled Comet, Salazar, and Hatsu. This game does seem to be a little bit more kind to just legendary pulls, right? I don't know. But, you know, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade here. Like, I had this feeling too when I first started playing this game. It was super refreshing, super new. And I kind of felt a little bit different. I feel a little bit differently about it now, but I'm not trying to, you know, take away anybody else's enjoyment and pleasure from the game. Ash, you nailed it. I've been playing since January and feel the same. Lots to do, but it all seems a bit redundant after a week. The meta heroes are so much better than the majority of the pool. Make all legendary heroes great again, or buff the bad ones. Yeah, I talked a lot in that initial video about buffs and debuffs, right? Buffs and nerfs, excuse me. In addition to buffs and debuffs, I talked about buffs and nerfs to champions, you know? I think one of the issues with buffs and debuffs in the game is they're less viable in play, and the level of impact feels much less than in something like Raid. Summoning is less compelling because the champion pool is so much smaller. We get some ideas here. Add a new guild boss that will reset weekly with additional rewards from the boss that will be guild versus guild based. Number 2 is add new stages of campaign to match Void Rift difficulties, campaign nightmare stages. Remove option of buying ancients with guaranteed rolls. Dude, I should probably make a whole video complaining about that. I haven't even mentioned it, but I 100% agree on that. Gosh. They're still adding new bosses to Immortal Codex, which is actually awesome. And then make new gear dungeons accessible non-stop. I agree with all of this. I think I'm gonna pin this comment. I think it's a pretty good, I get where you're coming from, but maybe it's because you have all the best champions. I am endgame in Raid Shadow Legends, and the game feels pretty much plays itself. So I swap champs to mix it up, and by the end, the results are the same. In this game, I have about 15 legendaries, excuse me. So I really have to think about placements and builds. So I am enjoying it. Maybe as I get more champions, that will change. Absolutely, it could be. Part of my issue could be that I overdid it, you know? Granted, I don't feel like I have that many more than 15 legendary. Like, my man has 15 legendaries. I feel like I have like 20 or something, you know? So I feel like you have a lot too, bro. But that being said, I absolutely, that could be it. It could be because I spent too much on the game and, you know, did too many summoning videos, and now I'm feeling like, kind of underwhelmed, you know? But this isn't the same in every gacha game. I'm down to only playing Raid and Watcher of Realms, and both of them are the same. The hero pool is just saturated with hero after hero that does the same thing. Once you have a good guild boss or Hydra team in Raid, it just goes full casual. However, both being gacha games, they're fundamentally different in how the battles are done. One is turn-based and the other is tower defense. There's not a dig at you, but when saying that you don't think about it like a battle in Raid, didn't you get Fasty to rework your guild boss in Gear Raid team in Watcher of Realms, which was a brilliant opportunity to think about team strategy? Yeah, definitely had Fasty come on and help work with my teams. I'm not trying to say this game is void of strategy at all. I think it has a lot of strategy in this game. I feel like, no, I feel different. This is just me being a little therapy sesh here, guys, right? I just feel differently about Watcher of Realms with Raid. Like, I don't feel like Cast the 69 here, right? I don't agree with him on Raid, right? I never thought I'd be going to bat for Raid Shadow Legends here on the channel, but I don't agree with him, man. I find myself still gravitating, even though I have like almost every dang champion in Raid, still going back to Raid, you know, and finding stuff to be interested in. Not that I have to like search, not that I have to force myself to, but I just find myself compelled more to go to Raid, you know? And I have like a much more endgame account in Raid than I do on this in this game, you know? So everybody's experience is a little bit different, of course, but this doesn't feel the same to me. I don't feel that compulsion to log on, right? As I do Raid right now, even though I'm endgame definitely in both games. Hey guys, you know what? I think we've read enough comments here. I think we've probably covered, you know, a bit of both sides, I would say, or maybe not even both sides, but we've gotten the temperature check of you guys. If you have any additional thoughts, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, I think maybe I just need to make some more of that actual focus time, right, for Watcher of Realms and get better gear while I'm at it. Thanks for watching till the end, guys. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.